From right now, we got to do it again. Yeah? Thank you. There's a beep noise that kind of indicates it's about to shut off. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming. Good morning. Yay, 45 minutes late. I'm going to crank through this so that we're not delayed too much. I might have to cut your guys' 20-minute break that I had scheduled down to 10. So sorry, but at least you guys are getting one this time. How was the last class? It's very intense. You learned something? Okay. I think it was 9 videos or something I had to put up at 30 minutes. It was pretty intense. But like I said, sorry about the videos going up late. Please turn in the homeworks by the last class. If there's any issues of you guys getting them in like Thursday or Friday and then like correction times, that's okay. I'm going to be kind of lenient with the grading, but I definitely want to make sure that you understand the equations that are at the end. That's super important to me, that you guys understand how to answer those questions. And we basically went through them in class, so if you review the video, you should be able to answer those with no problem, okay? I just took attendance. We're all good on that. We're missing a couple, which means somebody has to answer some questions at the end of class. I don't even know what they're going to be, but they're going to be tough. No, they're not going to be that tough. I know life gets in the way, so it's not a big deal. But I'm going to put up a couple questions for those folks. And if you feel like answering them on your own time and give yourself some more work, go right ahead. I don't have a problem with that. Let's go through the handouts real quick. And so we know what they are. All right. They're kind of scattered about different subject matters, so I'll do my best to help you organize them. But let's see if we can stick to what we need today and what we need. Okay, for today, definitely we're going to need the crop selection checklist. That file that I emailed to you that everybody's been able to pull up, right, for the most part, here's a hard copy of those websites. When we're using these websites today in my lecture, have that Word document on the side. It should have hyperlinks. They're all blue, right? You should be able to just click, and then it'll go right to where I'm going. So you have it right in front of you. That's kind of the goal of having the computers today, okay? What else is today? Let's look at the analytical service fees. I'm going to talk about this on the field trip. So be sure you have that with you on the field trip, okay? Or not field trip, or where we're going today, I guess, to the farm. I guess that's a field trip, isn't it? Let's see, for managing practice, disease, organic, Let's do homework last. Okay, so for next class, I definitely want you to read Collecting Plant Diseases and Insect Pest Samples for Problem Diagnosis. Especially this one. If you're not going to read any of these, which you should read all of them, definitely read this one. This is super important, and we're going to be reviewing this throughout the next class, which is over IPM, Integrated Pest Management. There's also a sheet here with worksheet for gathering information, necessary diagnosis for plant and insect samples. And we're going to use that sheet for the next class. So please make sure you read that, and then you have this with you. The next CTAR sheet is the Managing Practices to Prevent and Control Plant Diseases. Did I give you that one yet? Yeah. Okay, I figured I might have. Oh, it was only one sheet. So good thing you already read it. Yeah, right. But keep this with you, and please read it. It's super important. It just talks about plant nutrition and cultural practices and chemical controls, and it's just a really good introduction. It's 2 pages. Just flip through it. Okay. And then we have Insect Pest Management for Organic Crops. This is a great write-up from the University of California, and it talks about biological control, chemical control, mechanical control. Sorry about the copying. I think it's flipped on some of them. Talks a little bit about pests that we don't really have here, and some of them we do. We do have aphids, whiteflies, leaf miners, stink bugs, flea beetles. We have those things. Some of the things we might not have because they're California specific, but definitely take a look at that sheet, and it talks a little bit about the organic approach versus the chemical approaches. Okay? And plant disease diagnosis. This is a really great write-up that is pretty technical. It's got some vocabulary in there. It's pretty much a scientific paper. And it's really all about identification, knowing what a plant looks like normally and as it goes through phases of life as compared to symptoms and signs of diseases, how to observe patterns. And everybody got color, right? Yep. Oh, sweet. I asked for black and white, and they gave me color. It talks about laboratory tests and who to ask questions and what questions to ask, final diagnoses. And I really like this page where it talks about the observed symptoms and signs. We're going to talk a lot about that on the IPM day. So being able to observe the difference between a fungus and a bacteria. And it's pretty plain and simple, and it talks about powdery mildew and all that good stuff. So please read this as well. It's super important. If you read this, you will not feel left behind when we do our next lecture. Okay? And finally, coffee. Homework. Davey, I lied to you. I forgot that we had the homework 3. I said we don't have any more homework. We have one more. Written homework, that is. Okay. Homework for today's class. I also have homework for next class on there as well. Super easy. We'll go over it. Here we go. Of course, you guys are doing a great job on the full paragraphs and sentence structure. It's so awesome. Thank you so much. Keep it up. All right? It's been a real problem in a lot of my classes, and you guys are definitely the best at it. I really, really appreciate the sentence structure. Okay? You're really getting your ideas down and not trying to word your way out of it. You're actually giving me the facts, and you're getting them in 3 sentences, and that's what I'm looking for. I don't want too much. I don't like to read too much. I just like the information and then move on with the next question. Okay? So you're doing a great job. That's a compliment. Assignment number 3, write a 2-page single space typed. If you can't type, that's fine. You guys are doing a pretty good job with the handwriting, Davey and a couple others. If you're going to do a handwrite, I need 4 pages of loose leaf paper. That's front, back, okay? Give me a 2-page typed or a 4-page handwritten. I know your handwriting is just about the right size, so just keep it at about 4 pages. And give me a paper with a complete introduction and conclusion. And you're going to basically describe one crop that you feel would be a good choice for your system. This is for either your real system that you have going on your farms, or one that you're dreaming up for the business plan idea, or one that's just kind of obscure and you just want to play with it. Okay, I don't really care. But first describe your proposed system. What kind of system is it going to be? Remember that first day we talked about? Just give me, it's going to be nursery, it's going to be fields cropping, or whatever you want to do. Describe the process. Tell me why it is a good choice for your environment. We'll go over this today. And where you will get your genetics from specifically. This is super important. So if you're going to be doing lettuce greenhouse, how are you going to get your seeds? So this is materials acquisition. This is getting the genetics. Now, genetics is super important when you're talking about your environment. You have to experiment. You have to get multiple kinds to make sure that different genetics are going to be able to exist within your specific environment. Some things just don't do well where you're at, but maybe a different strain of watermelon will do well where you're at versus another. So you got to play around, and I want to know where you're going to get your seeds from. Since this is pretty much an agriculture-based class. A lot of the other classes, I let you steer off and do added value and stuff. But for you guys, you're going to be pretty much doing crops, plants, orchard, nursery. So I want to know where you're going to get your genetics from. And it's super important because your genetics are your product, right? So it's going to relate very closely to why you choose that and what your market looks like and all that stuff. So please fill me in on that. Where did I leave off? Genetics. What is the market potential for this product? We'll talk about that a little bit today, but kind of where is the market currently based upon your product here in Hawaii? So if you're talking about something like hydroponic lettuce where it's a flooded market, where are you at in the market? You're just one of 10,000 people doing it. Now if you're selling mangosteen, or if you're have a unique type of eggplant, then you have a totally different market. So like the Italian eggplant, huge market in Hawaii. Everybody grows the Japanese kind. The other ones grow great here, and you can actually sell them for top dollar. It's just that there's a certain expectancy of what type is going to be at the market. And if you realize that the Italian type will actually sell just as well as Japanese type, and you actually will get a better market, this might be something you might want to consider. So, market potential. So we're talking really closely about market analysis. You need to understand your market. We'll talk about that today. Whether or not the product can be made into an added value product. Remember what added value is? Taking a product from your field, somehow processing it so that you can repackage it and sell it for a lot more than it's really worth as a raw product. Okay, so salsas or whatever you want to do, jellies and jams. Can you make it into a value-added product? If you can't, justify why not and why you don't need to. Sweet potato farmers don't need to. They make a pretty good living off of it. They don't need to added value their sweet potatoes. Now, if you use a specific kind of native sweet potato that people can't find, that is an added value, depending on how you consider added value. But you're not really processing it. That's more genetics. What the market value is for your product, based upon the most current information. We'll go over this today, how to find out this information. A lot of the data for agriculture crops in Hawaii, the most current stuff we have is from the 2007-2008 agriculture census. So most of the numbers we have are pretty old. So, and a lot of them were they were 97 and then 2007, 2008. So as sugar and pineapple was leaving, there's just this it's kind of all over the place. People trying to find their way. And then now that it's been gone, 15 years or so, 20 years, so they've actually figured out where the markets are. So the most current data is going to be 2007, 2008. That is okay. That is accepted as the current data because that's all we have in Hawaii. So when you try to find out what your current numbers are, say you want to grow anthuriums, nursery, it's pretty easy to find out what the most current numbers for anthuriums are since I gave you those numbers in the nursery handout. So just try to find that information and make sure it gets in this paper, okay? Where am I at? How is your product unique? We talked a little bit about this, that if everybody's selling the same thing and you got a totally different product, people are going to be more prone to buy your product. How is your product going to be unique? We'll talk a little bit about that today. And describe your personal passion for the product. A lot of people's personal passion for products is money. That's fine. Perfectly fine. I don't get excited about mangosteen. They do taste good, but if I had 12 trees in my backyard, oh boy, would I be excited. Okay? So, all these subjects must be thoroughly detailed and described in order to get credit for the assignment. Don't skip over any of those because I'll turn it back to you and say it's not complete. I need to get all this. If you say you can't find it, tell me where you went to find it or what troubles you went through to find it. Show me that you went out there and searched for it. The goal of this assignment is for me to know that you know what to look for, not necessarily the numbers. Got it? Okay. I want real numbers from reputable sources. So if you do get real numbers, I would like you to reference where you got them. I would prefer MLA style, but a lot of people don't understand that. I haven't been in school a while. If you can do MLA, I would appreciate it. If you just can reference, maybe send me a link to something online that you saw. So I need that. I need to know where you got the data from. Okay. My biggest pet peeve, as you guys know, plagiarism, stealing data. People worked really hard for those numbers. Don't just throw them out there and not give credit to the people that worked hard for them. Okay. I recommend that you use easybib.com. Easybib.com is a great website. I can actually pull it up right now. And you're going to need this for your business plan side project. So you're going to have to come up with some tangible data for that business plan, and you're going to have to reference it. So keep this in the back of your mind after you do this assignment, as this is a great website. Everybody in college uses this, at least everybody I know. It's a really great program that it's a, I guess it's just like a catalog of referenced materials. And what you do is you punch in here the title, the name of your journal, or some keywords, and then you can search their database to see if the reference is in there already. And if it is, you just click on it, and it just gives you a Word document, and it gives you the whole bibliography in MLA style. You don't have to type it all out. It's genius. I love it. And then if they don't have it, they have little columns to help you put in the information, and then it puts it into MLA style for you. Okay? So, for example, let's see here. Okay, here we go. Let's, if I go to this website, and I'm just referencing this website. See, I got some information from this CTAR website. It didn't recognize it. Nobody's mentioned it before. So what I'll do is I'll go into the online thing and I write in that I got it from the internet. I'll put in the title. It found the title for me, Knowledge Master. It doesn't even recognize it, but it found the title. So then you go back to it and you find out who wrote it or whatever, and then you can put in the author. And then if you need to add more authors, you click down here, add another contributor. You put the website, and so basically you usually cut and paste the URL, but it put it up there for you. If it's a publisher or sponsor, this one was done by CTAR, so you definitely put CTAR in there. And then when you're all done, you hit Create Citation, and then it brings it all up for you in MLA style. Yeah, let's just, let's see, this will be CTAR. See, it's on the honor system, so I don't want to just, I don't want to put any wrong information in there. I'll put some limited information, but there you go. So there it is. Since I didn't put this is where the author would be. And it actually recognized too many spaces in the front, so I would actually go back and adjust this and take out that Knowledge Master that they populated in there and write my own Knowledge Master, just to make sure that it's nice and clean. And then you go to there, and it'll create a whole list. You can go over and then start another one. Go to a journal article right up there, and you'll put your journal article title in here. Let's have one. Let's do natural farming, Hawaii. See if anybody's. Nope. But then you go to the journal, and then you put in the article title and blah, 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 and it'll all put it up for you. So usually when you're reading your article, you have all the information in front of you. Just be sure you put as much information as you can, and it'll create it. And then...
That's all the handouts that they get up at extension service. You know, that's what the journals are.
Well, it's any journal. It's a scientific journal. So like anytime anybody in my field is going to reference any scientific data, we're going to reference another journal that was peer-reviewed. So by journal, that's what it means. It means something was published, and then somebody had done the experiment again at another location and got the same data. It's the only science that is worth anything. It's peer-reviewed data, and I don't read data that's not. So those are the journals that they're referring to. I wish I could come up with just, well, let's see. What?
How about trying something on hydroponics?
That's a hydroponics. This is a website. I don't want to do that. Going slow. Let's do, okay, so say you put in the title, The Meaning of Hydroponics. You're looking for this specific article. You type Meaning of Hydroponics in, this thing comes up. Somebody already referenced it for you. You click Select. It allows you to edit it to make sure it's correct. And that's super important. A lot of people won't put the middle name in the author. It's really important that you put that in so those people can be recognized, especially when they have common names. So there's all the information, and it allows you to recreate the citation. So this is all on the honor system. Somebody could come in and totally blow this out, but it's why you always have to make sure that you're editing it all the way through. So you create the citation, and now I have 2 citations right there. Once I'm done, I can export or print, and I can save as a Google Doc, I can save it as a Word doc, which is what I usually do. Save it as a Word doc, and then I cut and paste it into my paper. And I don't have to ever type anything except for the information that it asks for. So please, if you're going to reference anybody's data, make sure you do it correctly. If you don't do it correctly, I understand this is not an English course, but I'm just telling you this is how the rest of the world does it. Okay? All right. That's the homework, right? There's your homework. Make sure all those things are answered. All right? Assignment number 4. Real simple. Bring a plant sample. A leaf, a plant stem, a fruit, a flower, or even a whole plant like a weed or something that's shorter. Please clean the dirt off of it, the soil, that is. My wife's got me saying that a lot lately because she's messing with me. Bring it to the next class. And bring me one of those that you think has a disease on it. And bring it to the next class, okay? My hair's falling out my mouth. So bring, usually you just find a nice leaf that's got a little fungus or some kind of spot on it, and you think it's a disease, go ahead and bring that in. We're going to put it under the microscope, and we're going to do a little bit of analysis on it just to see, comparing it to that sheet I gave you, if it's a fungus, a bacteria, and then you have at least a somewhat idea how to address it. So for example, if it's a fungus, you're able to identify it as a fungus, and you're an organic farmer, well, you're pretty limited on your fungicides. And the most affordable one that works the best is sulfur. And so I would, as an organic farmer, would just go out if I found that I had a fungus, would first treat with sulfur. Because it's inexpensive and I know it works, and then I would see if that works. And then I don't have to send any tissue samples in. I don't have to do anything else. I'm able to look at it and know exactly what to do, spray some stuff on it, and I go about my day. So my plant's happy, I'm happy, and I'm not spending my time sending stuff back and forth for analysis. So that's kind of the goal, is to help you guys identify these so that you can adjust them before you send them in for analysis. And then if you have any issues, show you how to send them in, okay? Let's do, we will observe these under the microscope, like I said, and do some activities to determine what the diseases will be. Also bring an insect sample to the next class that you pick off of a plant, preferably a crop plant. And properly preserve, that's a lot of P's, properly preserve the insect for analysis. How do we do that? Collecting plant and insect pest samples, right? Page 2, preserving insect specimens. It tells you how. So if it's a butterfly or moth, you're going to preserve it differently than if it's a cockroach, termite, beetle, or fly. Grubs are a little different. The reason why you preserve it differently is because they have different body structures. Some of them have a hard exoskeleton, some of them have a soft exoskeleton, so you might have to put it in alcohol. Depending on what it's like. It gives you a list of how to do it. Turn to the next page, packaging, and I want you to, as if you are going to send it off for analysis, I want you to package your bug, bring it into class. I'm going to observe your packaging, let you know if it is acceptable to turn it into the analytical lab. And then we'll also take a look at them under the microscope, and we're going to look at mouth parts on insects, which is a super important way to identify, or at least address what type of technique to get rid of the bugs. So if your bugs are chewing bugs versus piercing bugs, then you're going to have a totally different approach. And so let's be able to identify those first, be able to know what steps to take for each type of mouth part, and then if that doesn't work, we can send them off to analytical lab. Because nobody likes to spend $30 for no reason if you're able to do it at home. Okay? So please be sure you go through that and read that. That's for next class. Here's assignment 3 and 4. These are all due before the next class. Okay? Everything is due before the next class. If you show up to the next class and you don't have it done, you will not get a certification. Sorry about that. I'm not going to give any extensions past the last day of this class, as the last minute of this class is the last that I am dealing with this class. Okay? I have to go on and deal with the next phases of your class, the business side, and then also I'm doing 12 or 13 modules as well. So I gotta go that direction. Okay? They actually turned out really well, the modules. We got 3 natural farming ones. We got natural farming with chickens as well, and we have cattle class. We have a composting class. We have farm management class. We have a weeds management class, and a couple others. So I've been putting all those together and finalizing those dates.
How do you get onto those?
Just once we get through, well, once I have the dates totally confirmed, then we're going to send out notifications. You can actually, once we start sending those out, we'll be doing the business side of the class if you're still in the class, and then I'll just let you know, and you'll probably have first crack at signing up for them, okay? We're not really limited on a lot of the days on how many students we can have, so. I'm not going to tell you about the surprise. You got to do the business class, and there's a surprise for you if you do the business class I found out about yesterday. So it's worth your while, definitely, to take part, because somebody donated something really fantastic as a prize for most complete business plan. So I won't tell you what it is, but it's definitely cool. All right? All right, moving on. We're going into, what are we talking about today? I got too many classes going on at once. Oh, come on, computer, man. You can't do the finger thing when your finger's all wet. Can I get those light switches back there, turn off this one up here so everybody can see? Unless I got this. I don't know what that does. No. Yeah, the ones in the back you could leave on. No, you just flip the ones in the back. I just want this one off. Off. Perfect. They'll fall asleep. Can we get the middles up? I know this kid. All right. No, it's all right. I got my sleepers up front. We're all good. Oh, I never started up the timer. How are we doing on time on that thing? Okay. Thanks for watching it. Be sure it restarts. I appreciate it very much. You get extra credit. We're talking about crop selection today, folks. Talking about which crops work in your environment, which crops work for you, which crops work in your market. Most important thing. All right. First thing we're going to talk about is the Nrcs Soil Survey website. And I want to go to this website, and everybody's going to be able to find out what the soil type is on their specific property and what the properties of those soils are, so that you can properly identify crops that work in your environment. So remember that each section of the island has its own soil type, and then there's subsections, and then it goes down to pretty specific over just some almost acreage. A lot of the names, soil names, are awesome. I could really teach you something about that, but we don't have too much time. But we'll talk about a little bit about soil names and how someone like myself can look at a incredibly long, like 75-letter word that is the soil type and tell you what it is, what its properties are, where it is, and it's all based upon the name, and it's just it's taxonomy of soils. So it's really interesting. It's not like it's done anywhere else in like the animal kingdom or the plant kingdom or anything like that. Soils are really done old school English way, and that's kind of where it started, and it hasn't really steered away from that, which is really interesting. So we're going to go over the Soil Survey website. Everybody's going to go online and do that. We're going to talk about market research. We're going to talk about researching crops. We're going to go over a couple CTAR and UH-HELO resources, and then talk about resource management. Okay, let's get started since we're already an hour late. Okay, everybody go to Google and Google Soil Survey. Do you know where to go? Okay.
Right here.
Yeah, right up there, just type in Google in the bar. Hey, look at that. It already knows what you're doing. Just hit enter. Most times you only have to put 2 or 3 letters. It knows where you're going. Type in soil.
Soil survey.
Yeah, soil survey. Let's see if my hyperlink works. Yay! everybody should be at this screen after they click on the NRCS Soil Survey website, which is the first prompt.